Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone. So we're preparing for the Jagannatha Rathyatra, which is an essential part of the Krishna consciousness movement, especially Gaudiya Vaishnavism. As Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was fond of Rathyatra, more than fond, it was his life and soul, and nothing. That's bizarre. Huh. Somebody else take a look, see if there's anything in there. Papers. Thank you. Too many bags. Prabhupada said it's a feeling festival. Means that has very deep esoteric meaning. And so there's a couple of shlokas that we sing that are very important. Actually, one of them that we all know starts with Ya Komara Hara Saeva Hivaras Taeva Chaitra Shapas Te Kon Milita Malati Surabaya Rodha Kadamba Nila. If you could put that up, if it's not too much trouble. Sa Chaivamsi Tatapi Tatra Surata Vyapara Lila Vadao Reva Rodasi Vedasi Tarutale Cheta Samutkantate. Does that sound familiar? So this is a song that actually comes from the Sahitya Darpana. It's taught to a lot of people or was many years ago, as a part of just regular culture. It's not from any shastra. It was like a popular song, and it's about a love affair that took place, and a lover remembering that love affair years later and pining for it. So kind of like a popular song that you might have heard on the radio or something in modern day, or let's say a cinema song where there's some sense of a love affair that took place. And what's important about it then, or what's interesting, is that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sang this song during the Rathyatra. And of course, not many people could hear him because Rathyatra is a little loud. And with one person singing, it's not totally audible. But Swarup Damodar could understand. Rupa Goswami obviously understood too, because as you'll find in the beginning of the Antya Lila, Rupa Goswami had heard Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu singing this song, and then understood what his mind was. And how do we know, what is a verse that you can think of that indicates that Srila Rupa Goswami knew the mind and heart of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and wanted to fulfill his innermost desires? Microphone to Shastra Sar Prada. We're going to chant also for everyone but I just want to build a little context to some of the shlokas that we'll chant. And we'll have kirtan also. Okay? Well, it's all good with you, I know, but I'm just saying. Okay.
Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam.
Can you say a little more about what it means?
So, Shri Chaitanya Manaha Abhishtam, that thing that was very, very dear to the mind of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sthapitam Yena Bhutale, this person established it on earth. So to do that, he obviously had to understand it. And Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam. When will that Rupa himself give me the shade of his lotus feet?
So this is specifically about how Rupa Goswami understood the mind and heart of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We say that verse quite a bit because it's in our Mangalacharana. And the specific details of that are related to this song. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sang the song, and then Rupa Goswami composed another verse to explain this song. Because this song is just basic, everybody knew it. But why would a sannyasi, and why would somebody who's in the renounced of life be singing this love song at Rathyatra? Well, we understand through the pen of Kaviraj Goswami that because at Rathyatra, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in the mood of Srimati Radharani. And in the mood of seeing Krishna and wanting him to come back to Vrindavan. So this translation, that very personality who stole away my heart during my youth is now again my master. These are the same moonlit nights of the month of Chaitra, the same fragrance of malati flowers is there, and the same sweet breezes are blowing from the Kadamba forest. In our intimate relationship, I am also the same lover, yet still my mind is not happy here. I am eager to go back to that place on the bank of the Reva under the Vatasi tree. That is my desire. So there was a love affair, and then later on they were married, and now he's thinking back. This is the mundane song, but the lover is thinking back to, oh, I remember that time when we first fell in love. That's the idea. So popular song, under a very recognizable theme. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was singing this, but his conception is totally transcendental, of course. It's in relationship to Srimati Radharani's pining for Krishna to be in Vrindavan. She's seeing him there at Kurukshetra, but as we know, the word got out. In fact, at that time, there was no internet. Did you know that? People would go around with a drum as a messenger, and they'd beat the drum, and they would make announcements in various villages if there was a big event to take place. Word got out in Vrindavan. Messenger came that during the solar eclipse, there would be a meeting at Kurukshetra, and Krishna was going. That was of special interest to the residents of Vrindavan, especially many of Krishna's intimate devotees there, because they have a secret loving affair with Krishna in Vrindavan. They don't want to reveal it to everyone. And it was a perfect opportunity because everyone was going anyway to Kurukshetra. So if they showed up, it wasn't like, hey, what are you doing here? Everyone's here. So they could go under that cover to see Krishna, but that was their only motivation for going there. And of course, the residents of Vrindavan live in a village. It's simple life. They came on bullocks to Kurukshetra, whereas from the other direction, Krishna, who had moved far away from Vrindavan, first he was in Mathura, and then of course we know that to protect the residents of Mathura from Jarasandha, he and other demons like Kaliyavana, he had moved them all in the middle of the night to Dwarka, which was a city he created to transfer all his devotees to a place of protection. So now they were far away, and Krishna is living in Dwarka as a king, and riding on golden chariots with elephants, with literally millions of followers, because even of family members in the Yadu dynasty now, there were 16,000. How many wives? And they each had how many children? And then how many grandchildren from each one of those? And do the math. And they all came. So from one side is coming in the great opulence of Dwarka, and chariots made of gold or embossed with gold, and Krishna dressed as prince, king, and then from the other direction we have the residents of Vrindavan. If you can make the noise of a bullock cart, as you know, my special effects need work. But they're coming in from the other side. The juxtaposition of these two scenes sets the scene in Kurukshetra. And the residents of Vrindavan had not seen Krishna. Of course, as is explained in the Shastra, they're never separated from Krishna, nor does Krishna ever leave Vrindavan. And he's there interacting with the devotees in Vrindavan, and in fact, they see him regularly. But some of them doubt whether it's actually Krishna, whether they're seeing him or they're just pining for him so much that they believe they're seeing him. So that when they came there, and there was the mixture of these two cultures that came together, the opulence of Dwarka and all the residents there, and Krishna leading as he was in a kingly way, and then the residents of Vrindavan who were simply thinking of Krishna and pining for him. Then there was this dichotomy. And so this song, or this verse, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu related to this incident at Kurukshetra because it was their heartfelt desire to see Krishna, the residents of Vrindavan, because that's all they thought about constantly while they're in Vrindavan. And now they're seeing Krishna in Dwarka, but they're thinking, not like this. We want actually to see you in Vrindavan. So you see, if you read it again, that very personality who stole away my heart during my youth is now again my master. These are the same moonlit nights of the month of Chaitra, the same fragrance of the malati flowers is there, and the same sweet breezes are blowing from the Kadamba forest. In our intimate relationship, I am also the same lover, yet still my mind is not happy here. I am eager to go back to that place on the bank of the Reva under the Vatasi tree. That is my desire. So then Rupa Goswami, understanding the mind of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and of course he writes about this and talks about the existential or the ontological situation of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When we hear it in the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Anarpita, Charim Chirat, Karuna Yavatirna Kalau, Samarpayitu Munato Jvalarasam Swabhakti Shriyam, Hari Purata Sundara Duti Kadamba Sandipita, Sadarade Kandare Spuratu Va Sachinandana. That there's a reason behind Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. It's Krishna, but he's coming to taste this special relationship that Radharani has with him in the spiritual world. But he can't taste it because he's the one being tasted. He's not the taster. So he comes to teach this special love that the residents of Vrindavan have, and also to taste it himself. And so Rupa Goswami then writes a parallel verse to explain what is in the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he's singing this song at Rathyatra. And it goes like this. Priha soyam Krishna saha. Let's put it up. It's Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 1.76. And the meter is just like Barha Pidam Natavara Bapu Karnayo Karnikaram. So it'll be just in that meter that we'll sing it. This will be Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 1.76. And as it's mentioned here in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, this is a verse spoken by Srimati Radharani. So it's from the revelation of Rupa Goswami that Radharani is speaking this verse, and it's Radharani at the Rathyatra, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the mood of Srimati Radharani expressing these feelings. Is everyone okay? Not too esoteric? It's Rathyatra. My dear friend. Okay, here it is. Let's look at the Sanskrit. We'll chant it together slowly in that meter. Priya soyam Krishna sahachari Kurukshetra militas tataham saradha ta idam ubhayo sangham masukam tatapyanta lan madhura madhuri panchama jushe mano me kalindi palina vipayanayas purati. And the translation is, my dear friend, now I have met my very old and dear friend Krishna on this field of Kurukshetra. I am the same Radharani, and now we are meeting together. It is very pleasant, but still I would like to go to the bank of the Jamuna, beneath the trees of the forest there. I wish to hear the vibration of his sweet flute playing the fifth note within that forest of Vrindavan. If we go on from there to Madhya 179, the author continues, she thought of him in the calm and quiet atmosphere of Vrindavan, dressed as a cowherd boy, but at Kurukshetra he was in a royal dress and was accompanied by elephants, horses, and crowds of men. Thus the atmosphere was not congenial for their meeting. Thus, meeting with Krishna and thinking of the Vrindavan atmosphere, Radharani longed for Krishna to take her to Vrindavan again, to fulfill her desire in that calm atmosphere. In this way, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw Jagannath, he saw that the Lord was with his sister Subhadra and was not holding a flute in his hand. And then we are at Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 13.128. In Kurukshetra, there are crowds of people, elephants and horses, and also the rattling of chariots. But in Vrindavan, there are flower gardens, and the humming of the bees and the chirping of the birds can be heard. Here at Kurukshetra, you are dressed like a royal prince, accompanied by great warriors. But at Vrindavan, you appeared just like an ordinary cowherd boy, accompanied only by your beautiful flute. Here there is not even a drop of the ocean of transcendental happiness that I enjoyed with you in Vrindavan. And now, Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 1.82. Tomara charana mor, vraj pur ghare, udaya kare jadi, tabe vansha pure. The gopis thought, dear Lord, if your lotus feet again come to our home in Vrindavan, our desires will be fulfilled. Then to 184. The gopis continued, dear Krishna, the fragrance of the mellows of your pastimes is spread throughout the forests of the glorious land of Vrindavan, which is surrounded by the sweetness of the district of Mathura. In the conjugal atmosphere of that wonderful land, you may enjoy your pastimes with your flute dancing on your lips and surrounded by us, the gopis, whose hearts are always enchanted by unpredictable ecstatic emotions. 186. Absorbed in the ecstasy of the gopis, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wished to see Lord Jagannath in his original form as Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, standing in Vrindavan and appearing very beautiful. His body curved in 3 places. His desire to see that form was always increasing. Now to Chaitanya Madhya 13.131. I therefore request you to come to Vrindavan and enjoy pastimes with me. If you do so, my ambition will be fulfilled. So this is what's taking place at Rathyatra, is the residents of Vrindavan have come to Kurukshetra, and they're seeing Krishna, but they're not fulfilled. And they're pining for him to come back to Vrindavan. And the pulling of the ropes of the chariot is in the mood of pulling Krishna back to Vrindavan. Please come back to that place where we know you with your flute and in your simple dress. And you're just with us, not with all these other people, not with fancy dress and people bowing down to you. In Vrindavan, we wrestle with you. You're ours in Vrindavan. We can't taste the same thing seeing you here in this place. So this a mood of intense separation that takes place at Kurukshetra, which is one of the most important aspects of Krishna consciousness that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught. Of course, the devotees suffer in separation. It's described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that it's like being bitten by a venomous serpent and having nectar poured on your head at the same time. And therefore, it's not that they're wishing for separation or even glorifying it so much, but the separation is what allows the meeting to be so sweet. And there are these two aspects of the Leela of Krishna and Vrindavan, and that is the intensity of the separation, which then is mitigated by their meeting again, as has been described by Gaur Govinda Maharaj and the embankment idea. There's two banks. One is separation and the other is meeting. And between those two, the Leela of Krishna flows. Finally, the last few verses. Krishna promises that he'll be coming back soon. And you can look at Chaitanya Madhya 13:156. I have already killed all these mischievous demons who are enemies of the Yadu dynasty, and have also killed Kamsa and his allies. Everyone still okay? But there are 2 or 4 demons still living. I want to kill them, and after doing so, I shall very soon return to Vrindavan. Please know this for certain. Purport. Just as Krishna does not take a step away from Vrindavan, Krishna's devotee also does not like to leave Vrindavan. However, when he has to tend to Krishna's business, he leaves Vrindavan. After finishing his mission, a pure devotee returns home, back to Vrindavan, back to Godhead. Krishna assured Radharani that after killing the demons outside Vrindavan, he would return. I'm coming back very soon, he promised, as soon as I have killed the few remaining demons. And the next verse we can, I'll say, and then please repeat it. It's an important verse from Chaitanya Madhya 13.160. Mai bhaktir hi bhutanam amritatvaya kalpate jishya yad asin matsneho bhavatinam adapana. Lord Sri Krishna said, devotional service unto me is the only way to attain me. My dear gopis, whatever love and affection you have attained for me by good fortune is the only reason for my returning to you. And one other verse that's very important, you can put up Madhya 13:113. Yes?
Where does good fortune come in the picture?
It's just how Krishna talks.
Oh.
You know, when the gopis come for the rasa dance, he said, "So what brings you out here?" Knowing very well that it was a fifth note on his flute that called to them all. They all heard it. None of them consulted with any of the others, but they all ended up in the same place because they were all being called. And then Krishna said, "You know, it's really dangerous here. Why'd you all come out to the forest?" And even when Krishna sent a note through Uddhava to Vrindavan to console them, he talked about how he's all pervading and so forth. It's all true, but there's almost an underlying kind of humor in it, the way Krishna addresses. So it's just his general way of addressing them in many instances. And of course, good fortune is also mentioned in the Bhagavatam. Satam prasangam, itam satam brahma sukhanubhutya dasyam gatanam paridaivatenam mayashitanam nardarakena sakam vrijaru krita punya punja. Krita punya punja, Shukadeva Goswami says, is this heaps and heaps, as Prabhupada says in one place, of pious credits. Of course, it's Bhakti and Mukhi Sukriti, the association with great devotees, that gives us that kind of credit through which we can approach Krishna. And it's sometimes called good fortune. So the last verse I'd like to enter into evidence in our ongoing discussion about Rathyatra, of which we're just scratching the surface now, but it's important to become acquainted with these verses and concepts. And then when we're in the Rathyatra, it's not just a social gathering, but it's to us, because we're hearing and we're learning through Shastra what's actually going on, and what was the feeling of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees there, who will be able to appreciate that it's a very deep, as Prabhupada said, feeling festival that Prabhupada brought out to the world, and it's quite amazing because it is so esoteric, all these points, isn't it? But nonetheless, you'll see that there is no more degraded place in the world than the Venice Strip. I defy you to find a more degraded place anywhere on the planet. Yet Jagannath comes right down that alleyway where people are acting like beasts, and then he gives his darshan to all of them. So there's a lot going on, internally and externally, of Jagannath giving his mercy to all. But we should know the internal meaning of Rathyatra and feel what is the feeling part of this feeling festival. How are we feeling when we're there? And how to enter into that. So this is Madhya 13:113. Sheta Parana Nat Painu Jahalogi Madan Dahane Jurigenu. Now I have gained the Lord of my life, in the absence of whom I was being burned by Cupid and was withering away. This song refers to Srimati Radharani's meeting with Krishna at the holy place of Kurukshetra, where Lord Sri Krishna and his brother and sister came to visit when there was a solar eclipse. It is a song of separation from Krishna. When Radharani met Krishna at Kurukshetra, she remembered his intimate association in Vrindavan, and she thought, now I have gained the Lord of my life. In his absence, I was being burned by the arrow of Cupid, and thus I was withering away. Now I have my life again. But of course, as we know from the previous verses, it wasn't complete until he came back to Vrindavan in that setting of the Jamuna and Govardhan Hill and all the... Hare Krishna. Thank you. And all the other aesthetics of Vrindavan, which is incomparable anywhere else in any realm. So with those things in mind, and just let them sink in, we'll hear more about it later. Let's sing the Jagannatha Ashtakam with the mood that this is a festival where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is entering in the mood of Srimati Radharani. So the Jagannatha Ashtakam, I think we should look at the English also really quick. Doesn't even have to be really quick. Why don't we read it together so we have a sense of it, since we've been hearing from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sometimes in great happiness, Lord Jagannath makes a loud concert with his flute in the groves on the banks of the Jamuna. He is like a bumblebee tasting the beautiful lotus-like faces of the cowherd damsels of Vraja, and great personalities such as Lakshmi, Shiva, Brahma, Indra, and Ganesh worship his lotus feet. May that Jagannath Swami be the object of my vision. In his left hand, Lord Jagannath holds a flute. On his head he wears peacock feathers, and on his hips he wears fine yellow silken cloth. From the corners of his eyes he bestows sidelong glances upon his loving devotees, and always reveals himself through his pastimes in his divine abode of Vrindavan. May that Jagannath Swami be the object of my vision. On the shore of the great ocean, within a large palace atop the brilliant golden Nilachala hill, Lord Jagannath resides with his powerful brother Balabhadra and his sister Subhadra, who sits between them. May that Jagannath Swami, who bestows the opportunity for devotional service upon all godly souls, be the object of my vision. Lord Jagannath is an ocean of mercy and is as beautiful as a row of blackish rain clouds. He is the storehouse of bliss for Lakshmi and Saraswati, and his face resembles a spotless, full-blown lotus. The best of demigods and sages worship him, and the Upanishads sing his glories. May that Jagannath Swami be the object of my vision. When Lord Jagannath moves along the road on his Rathyatra car, at every step, large assemblies of brahmanas loudly chant prayers and songs for his pleasure. Hearing their hymns, Lord Jagannath becomes very favorably disposed toward them. He is the ocean of mercy and the true friend of all the worlds. May that Jagannath Swami, along with his consort Lakshmi, who is born from the ocean of nectar, be the object of my vision. Lord Jagannath, whose eyes resemble full-blown lotus petals, is the ornament on Lord Brahma's head. He resides on Nilachala hill, with its lotus feet placed on the heads of Anantadev. Overwhelmed by the mellows of love, he joyfully embraces Srimati Radharani's body, which is like a cool pond. May that Jagannath Swami. Can you do the like a Shiva Ranjani motif in the background? Yeah. I do not pray for a kingdom, nor for gold, rubies, or wealth. I do not ask for a beautiful wife as desired by all men. I simply pray that Jagannath Swami, whose glories Lord Shiva always sings, may be the constant object of my vision. O Lord of the demigods, please quickly remove this useless material existence I am undergoing. O Lord of the Yadus, please destroy this vast shoreless ocean of sins. Ah, this is certain. Lord Jagannath bestows his lotus feet upon those who feel themselves fallen and have no shelter in this world but him. May that Jagannatha Swami be the object of my vision. That devoted and virtuous soul who recites these 8 verses, glorifying Lord Jagannath, becomes cleansed of all sins and duly proceeds to Lord Vishnu's abode. And it would be nice if we could sing, if you could line up those 2 verses. The one that is from the Kavya Prakash, the mundane song that Mahaprabhu made famous, and then the song, the verse by Rupa Goswami that explains that verse. Does that make sense? I'll show you. Yeah, it's the first two here. You can just show them. Kadachit Kaldita Tavipina Sangita Karavo Buddha Birinari Vadana Kamalasvadamadupa Ganesha Chittapada Marathon samsaram dupatamasaram sudapate. Marathon papanam aparam nyarapapate. Oho dinenate nistasharano nishtikamida. Jagannatha Ashtakam punyam yapate rayata shuchi sarva papa vishubhatma Vishnu lokam sagachriti. One more time. Jagannatha Ashtakam punyam yapate rayata shuchi Sarva Papa Vishubhatma Vishnu Lokam Sagachriti. Let's see our verses. I don't know how we're going to reconcile that happy upbeat tune with this. Yes, Prabhu.
This verse can be sung in the same way Jagannatha
Shivaranjani?
Ashtakam. It can be sung in the same tune as Jagannatha Ashtakam.
Kadachit Yako Maraharasa Eva Hivaras. Do it.
Usually it's sung in more, it's like, no, not this one, I mean the other one, sorry. Priya Soyam Krishna can be sung. Priya Soyam Krishna Sahachari Kurukshetra Militas
Tatham Saradatavidam Upayo Sangama
Gama Sukham
Tatapyanta Kelan Madura Mulali Panchamajushe Mano Me Kalindi Pulina Vipanaya. Help us out.
Oh, so I usually sing it in the the other beat, not in the 2 beat. So
Okay.
I'll try singing it in the 2 beat version.
Okay.
Priya so Priya soyam Krishna sahachari Kurukshetra militas Aham
How do you reconcile the last line? It sounds like we're holding back on Sprihayati.
Usually in the other beat version, all of the ending of the line, there's a pause and then it kind of like goes, like it kind of like falls like down.
Can you give him a, instead of a tetracol, can you give him the right tone so he can do it? What?
Priya soyam Krishna sahachari Kurukshetra militas Tathaham saradhatadidamo bhayo sangama sukham Tathapyantakhelan madhuramuralipan Chamajoshe Mano me kalindi pulina vipinaya sprihayati.
It should work in two.
Comment? Was it about that?
Marge, it should work in two beat.
It should work in 2 beat?
Yeah. I
Okay,
kinda-
make it work. Let's hear it. We got to get this.
Okay.
We need it.
Priya Soyam Krishna Sahachari Guru Chittamalita Tataham Saradata Didamubhayo Sangamasukam Tathapyanta Kilan Madhura Murali Panchamajushe Manome Kalindi Pulina Vipinaya Sprihayati
Mano me kalindi pulina
Vipinaya
vipinaya
Sprihayati
Priya Soham Krishna Sahachari Guru Kshetra Militas Tathaham Saradhata Didam Ubayo Sangamasukam Tatapyanta Kilan Madhura Murali Panchamajushe. Do that one again. Tatapyanta Kilan Madhura Murali Panchamajushe. Mano me kalindi pulina vipinaya sprihayati. Mano me kalindi pulina vipinaya sprihayati. Okay. And now what about the other verse? Because we have two, we'd like to juxtapose, right? I know. We could do it in a lot, like we've done it before. We sing this all the time, but it's a little out of step with the mood that we're creating, right? So we have this whole idea of Shiva Ranjani and the Jagannatha Ashtakam. It's in a little more somber mood than Yakomar Harasa Eva Ivarasta Eva Shaitra. So what do you got? Huh?
I think the Goswami Ashtakam would kind of fit that
Same mood? Okay. You're saying Krishna Kirtan Ganana. Ras Eva. Let's get it right, key. Start up from the top. Give us a good starting. Ya Komaraharas Eva Hivaras Ta Eva Chaitra Shapat Te Milita Malati Surabaya Rodha Kadambanila Sachaiva Smita Tapitatra Surata Vyapara Lila Vidao Reva Rodasi Vedasi Tarutale Cheta Samukha Again. Reva Rodasi Vedasi Tarutale Cheta Samutkantate. Now we try them together and see how our little experiment worked. If the laboratory blows up. Yeah? means?
And then we'll be switching like the actual like,
So we can switch the order of the verses so it lines up with the beat.
So what order do you want to put them in? What are you saying?
it'll be Jagannatha Ashtakam,
Yeah?
The previous verse.
I'm not but the one that's similar to this that Rupa Goswami wrote,
Yeah?
and then this verse, and then Shivaranjani.
Right. That's the way we have it. Right? That's good. Because we're following it kind of historically, right? Because this was the one that Mahaprabhu sang. Then we give the Rupa Goswami verse after that, right? Then I was thinking we could save the Jagannatha Ashtakam Punyam Yapatet Prayita Shuchi. It's just sort of like as a little bridge to get back to Shiva Ranjani, right?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, they all fit in the same scale, so whichever needed.
We're getting somewhere. Okay, let's try it from Jagannatha Ashwami, Nayana Patagami, and then we'll go into the, Priya? Can I have my papers back? That way I can look at them when I'm... Thank you. Right. Okay, so actually this is the verse. Yeah, that's why you're saying. So, okay, well anyway, it's all transcendental, right? Okay, let's... Jagannath Swami Nayana
Patagami Vavadu
Jagannatha Swami Nayana Patagami Avatu Me Yakomara.
The other one.
What's happening now?
It's the other verse that we'll do first. Yeah. Priya
Priya Soyam Krishna Sahachari Kurukshetra Milatas Tata Hamsa Radhata Idam Ubayo Sangama Sukam Tatyanta Ke Dura Murali Panchama Jushe Mano Me Kalindi Pulina Vipinaya Suhayati Mano Me Kalindi Pulina Vipinaya Suhayati. Yeah. But let's wait for the harmonium.
What's the tune?
Ya komaraha saeva hivara saeva chai. Now go back. Let's do the transition again. Last line of the last verse. Not the translation, but go to the last verse. The first verse. The one we just did. We want the last line and see how the transition goes. Mano me, just a cappella. Mano me kalindi pulina vipinaya sprihayati. There's got to be a better way to end it. It's not consonant with the rhythm of sprihayati. It needs a little embellishment. Yeah. Do it. Give him the mic. Where's the mic? Go. Just give a sample.
Mano me kalin. Oh no, wait. Is that the right?
Mano me kalindi pulina vipinaya.
Sprihayati.
Sprihayati. Try it again. Mano me kalindi pulina vipinaya.
Sprihayati.
Sprihayati.
I think if we were to hold back on the Vipinaya, it might make it might end a little smoother.
Say it. Just sing it.
Mano me kalindi pulina Vipinaya Sprihayati. March.
Let's hear your way.
Mano me kalindi pulina vipinaya sprihayati.
Sprihayati. I like the second way better. Your way. Just because it gives a little more satisfaction at the end than you ended the song, right? Sprihayati. Mano me kalindi pulina vipinaya. Sprihayati. Sprihayati. One more time. Mano me kalindi pulina vipinaya. Sprihayati. Sprihayati. What does Sprihayati mean? Let's look. That'll help. Desires. Wow. So we can really lean into that. Sprihayati. Now, from he, e, let's hear where we go. From that, Sprihayati. Sprihayat, Sprihayat. In fact, we could even slow it down for more drama. Let's try that one last line one more time. Mano me kalindi pulina vipi. No more. Hold on. Just a cappella for a minute. Mano me kalindi pulina vipinaya spuraya. No, much slower. Do it. Give her the mic, but stop and then sprihayati, sprihayati, like that. Like half as fast. Cut it in half. Go. Sing.
Mano me kalindi pulina vipinaya sprihayati.
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 Now do it again. That's half speed. Go.
Mano me kalindi pulina vipinaya sprihayati.
What do you think? It's more better. Let's try it. Mano me kalinde pulina vipinaya sprihayati. Right? Sweeter ending. Let's try it from the top. Priya soyam krit a cappella. Sahachari Kurukshetra militas. Actually, it's militas, but who's counting? Right? There's no militas because it's a short I and we're saying a different word there. Is there a way to reconcile that in the meter, please? We've got O is long. We've got the E in Kshetra that can be held. Please figure it out. Go ahead.
We could do
Militas.
pre.
Okay, Kshetra, militas,
Yeah.
militas. Otherwise, militas.
Priya.
Sorry to say it, but that's bogus. Okay. Priya soyam Krishna sahachari Kurukshetra militas. Again, but hold on to the A in Kshetra in
It would end-
militas. What?
Similar way as.
Say it.
Priya Soyam Krishna Sahachari Kurukshetra Militas.
That's better. It's Kshetra, Kshetra, and we're back in the land of the bona fide. Okay, Priya soyam Krishna sahachari Kurukshetra militas tataham saradha tadidam ubhayo gamasukam tatat yanta kelan madura murali panchamajushe mano me kalindi pulina vipinaya sprihayati. One more time in the last line. Mano me kalindi pulina vipinaya sprihayati. Bravo, bravo. Now, that's where we are now. Now let's hear how you transition into the, what is that called? The Walk of the Tiger? This next tune? It's called the Walk of the Tiger. That's the kind of raga it is. What's it called? Dancing of the Tiger. Okay, let's hear you go.
Sprihayati Yakumarahara
Varas ta eva chaitra shapas te milita malati surabaya Praudha kadambanila Sachaiva snita tapita prasurata Vyapara lila vidao Reva rodasi vedasi tarutale Cheta samutkantate. Last line again. Reva rodasi vedasi tarutale Cheta samutkantate. Like Reva rodasi vedasi tarutale Cheta samutkantate. One more time. Last. Reva rodasi vedasi tarutale Cheta samutkantate. Then when Shiva Ranjani.
Oh wait, are we doing Jagannatha Ashtakam, Punya?
Yeah, but Shiva Ranjani going there. Jagannath, Jaga.
The scale would change a bit, but I think that's fine.
Yeah, I think it's okay. Let's hear. Jagannatha Ashtakam Punyam Yapatet Prayata Suchi Sarva Papa Vishudhatma Vishnu Lokam Sagachati. Okay, now the last two transitions. First verse, last line. No. Jagannatha Ashtakam, then into
Priya.
Yeah, Priya. Okay? Jagannatha Swami Nayana Patakami Bhavatu. One more time. Jagannatha Swami Nayana Patakami Bhavatu me. Krishna Sahajari Kurukshetra militas Ubhayo Sangamasukam Sangampakelan Madura Murali Panchamajushe Mano me kalindi pulina vitinaya do it again. Manone kalinde pulina dipinaya. One more time. Manone kalinde pulina dipinaya. Jagannatha Ashtakam. No middle black note. Yeah, it's there. Then, no. 1, 2, there.
This one?
Yeah. Then,
Okay.
miss the middle note. Jagannatha Ashtakam Punyam Yakrate Krayata Shuchi Sarva Papa Vishuddhatma Vishnu Lokam Sagachati. One more time. Jagannatha Ashtakam Punyam Yakrate Krayata Shuchi Sarva Papa Vishuddhatma Vishnu Lokam Sagachati. Then we're home free, right into Shiva Ranjani, where we can swim to our heart's content, right? So let's do it again from the beginning. And we need somebody to set up for us a beautiful PowerPoint with these verses in them, lined up like this. Something beautiful. Okay? What is that phenomenon when the bystander?
Diffusion of responsibility.
Diffusion of responsibility. I didn't get a definite yes. Okay, go back. We got 2 verses. No. Jagannatha Swami Sohayam Krishna Sachari Kura Kshetra Nidita. Again.
Soyam Krishna Sachari Kurukshetra Nidita.
Keep going. Tata Hasaladha Tadam Uvayo Sanyama Sukha. Kelam Madhura Murari Panchamadushe Manone Kalinde Pulina Vipinaya. Sorry. Manone Kalinde Pulina Vipinaya. One more time. Jagannatha Ashtakam Punyam Yathakekveta Shuji Sarva Papa Vishuddhama Vishnu Lokam Sagachati Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Everybody now. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Then Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, forget the third part, but there's another then, which we don't have to have until I get it later. But then there's just the way we do with the pentatonic scale, where it's just coming down the scale, right? But you're just coming down in Shivaranjani, that's all. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Yeah, got it.
Good luck on the D sharp, but anyway. Hare Krishna, it's not forever. It's just like a, to bring it home. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Just slow time, double part. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, we did a little work. We have a 6 to 7 slot at the Kirtan Mela in LA on Saturday night. I think that also may be during the curtains open for Artik. So I have to figure that out, how we want to do that. He said we can do it any way we want. So that's one thing. The other thing is on Saturday morning we're going to sing the Jagannatha Ashtakam. And I thought it would be nice, like they usually just, after Guru Puja, which they stop short, then everyone sits down, they sing the Jagannatha Ashtakam, they read the translation. So one thing came into my mind was, since I'm giving class that day anyway, is instead of just, we could actually just take our places for the class, then say the translation first to the Jagannatha Ashtakam, then we'll sing the Jagannatha Ashtakam with the other two verses combined, right? And then go into Shiva Ranjani as a beginning to the class. What do you think? Then those two verses will be there because somebody's going to make a nice PowerPoint with the Jagannatha Ashtakam and then the two verses tacked on, so we don't have to use their version at the temple. We'll see if we can do it independently, right? Then we can talk about the two verses. Yes.
What are we planning on singing for the Kirtan Mela? Is it also Shiva Ranjani or?
I don't know. I can't get enough of Shiva Ranjani, to be honest with you. It's a really powerful tune. What do you have in mind?
I like it as well.
Could be really nice. We have a whole hour. Of course, it might go through the Artik time, but we can do Shiva Ranjani for an hour, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah?
Mhm.
Okay. If we change our mind, we always have Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, because that's a nice tune that we're used to also, with all the different change-ups. And then also, we have been given the first spot to lead in the procession at Subhadra's cart. So anybody who wants to come, I deeply appreciate it. And the next question I have is, what do you want to bring down? Do you need anything? Because if we depend on them for stuff, we may not. Yes. Yeah, we can't depend on temple Madungas. So Mukaravinda Prabhu has offered, he's driving down on Thursday. He can bring some, whatever we want. So you want just one Madunga? You coming? You can put it on the bus? Okay. You can keep them down on the bus, and you want me to send one with Mukaravind also?
Yeah, we can.
Good to have at least two good Madungas, right?
Yeah. And then
Anything else? We need a harmonium?
I
No?
have a.
Yes? Here, use the microphone, then you'll get exclusive attention.
About shlokas. So I was wondering.
Oh, yes, that's a good point.
Yes. So should we have some from last year?
No, we're doing it all over again this year.
Okay.
I just went over it this morning with Shraddha. We have all the shlokas lined up. I just adjusted a few things to include. There's some songs we didn't sing, but since we're so used to singing O Hey Vaishnava Thakur and also Ujjvala Varana, it's practically our theme song, that I had to put those in. And we have all the shlokas lined up. We'll have 20 copies in paper books, and also she's going to send it out to everybody so you have it on phone. So one thing is on Saturday morning, if you all come, well, of course you'll be there. And then we can do right after the class, if you all want to do some shlokas like we have done before, we'll have those all lined up. Like we can do Brahma Sanghita and a few other things. Okay? Was that your question? It's all lined up. Any other things?
I'll be bringing my portable harmonium, so we're good for that.
You're good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're bringing a drum and you want me to give a drum to Mukaravind, or you want me to give two drums to or one to you?
We're bringing one in the bus.
You have a good one to bring?
We'll figure that out.
Yeah, we'll take care. Yeah.
You have a good one. And you want me to bring that one too? Okay. How about this? No, just kidding. Okay, any other thoughts, realizations from tonight? I think for the Mela, they're setting it up. They seem to put a lot of work into it, so we'll just depend on them. As far as the procession goes, they have their own stuff. Anything else? Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Shri Panchatattva, Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan, Shri Shri Lakshmi Nrsingadev, if you so desire, please reveal to us the Prabhupada's meaning of Rathyatra as a feeling festival. Kindly let us enter into the mood of Rathyatra, both in saving the conditioned souls, as Jagannath does in his procession, and also into the meaning that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu felt separation from Krishna in Vrindavan. Thank you for considering our request. Om Tat Sat. Everybody who agrees with this prayer, in whole or in part, please say Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpadurishya, Kripa